What's up everyone, welcome back to a new video on the Alien Algo channel. Today we will be going over the markets again. I will try to go over them a little bit faster to answer a couple questions I was asked on Twitter and to go over a couple altcoins that were asked to analyze. So with that having stated, let's get right into it. For the S&P, on the previous video, meaning yesterday, we were watching this getting swept and I wanted to see a higher low being formed. Well, we got it before we played towards the upside. This is exactly what happened. So I do think we can't be like mega positive because their wars are still going on and that creates FUD. But when we want to look at the general market, we don't really care about macro. So I want to see this hold where we trade above this, but it really is not that bad if we close above it this one time, just like we did here. We are doing the same here, so it really wouldn't mind if we just get this and chop a little more before. So going to the Nasdaq, quite similar, nothing interesting. Here as well, Dow Jones, nothing interesting. So let's go on to Bitcoin. Look at this on the 30 minutes, you already see my little short playing out. But the thing I stated in that previous video was on the volumetric chart, where we do some price movement like this, we trade into the lows, start to form a new pattern, and we move up. I do want to see this level getting held, where we pretty much reclaimed these highs, where you get a break retest of the highs. Yes. So this little part. So I already exited this short right here because this was a quite impulsive move and I really want to play this break and retest. So when we look at this right here, and we start on a 4-hour, that critical resistance area is still playing out right here. So this should be reclaimed and this should be held, otherwise we can go back into these levels. So let me illustrate it again. Here, this, reclaim these highs, or hold this right here. If we lose this, we'll simply be a buyer here again. So, with that having said, I wanted to explain this pattern. So this is one of my favorite patterns. It occurs on any time frame, because the moment I drew this, most people will probably be laughing, like, okay, why did he draw this? We went below this. Yes, while I drew this, I stated, I don't think this pattern will exactly form right here. But this is just to explain the moves, right? And now that you guys probably seen this, I will just draw this, okay? So, you already, I think, should see how this started to move, where we got this, and this, and this, and this, and this. You see it? This is just a manipulated rounding, and we look at it like this. Okay, so this is the type of pattern I was watching, and this is currently being formed thus far. So let's go ahead and see how we can utilize it. I already explained it here, what I wanted to see. I want to see this being held, this being broken. Otherwise, I think we will trade in here. So let's go on to ETH. ETH wanted to violate the idea. What do? We bought some lows, we sold some highs. And what do we seem to be getting now? It's just showing weakness, where we don't see a clear pattern breaking right here. Because I want this to get across. Because the question I was asked, why don't you share the exact setups? Like, why did you take this trade there and this and that. This is the daily market outlook. This is not my daily trading journal. I'm not journaling my trades here. This I do on paper or on a note file. Notepad, I mean. So, with that having said, what do I do with these videos? Because then the question is, okay, you're talking about trading, sharing setups. The way I share the setups. Okay, here I stated if price breaks up and holds around here, I will be a buyer to expect further upside. Okay, if the price did not go up and we first trade into the lows, here I would be a buyer again. So why do I do this? Because let's look at the way that I really trade. Okay, well, here at the 1 minute. So like I stated, I want to see price either move up, retest this, and go up. And then on the retest, I want to be a buyer. So the thing we really got, which was the second option, because we always look at the upside or the downside to play both sides, so you're always prepared for any type of weird move and you don't get caught with your pants down. So, like I stated, I wanted to be a buyer at these lows if we were given the lows, because if we broke out, of course, I wouldn't be a buyer at the lows because it was not given. So, now let's look at this little point. This box was your low. What did I want to see? I want to see a pattern that I like, that I find bullish. So, which pattern did we get? My infamous 1, 2, 3. Now let's look at the 15-minute. We are right here. You have 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3. Okay. Now let's go back onto this. Does it now look familiar? 1, 2, 3. I'll go back. 1, 2, 3. Yes? So these type of patterns is what I am looking for. So like I stated here, I expected this to just move up towards here, and then I would want to be a buyer when it starts consolidating in this area and sets up a new pattern. This can be either this 1, 2, 3, or it can be like this, where it has equal lows, like right around here. 1, 2. So this is another pattern instead of 1, 2, 3, right? So what I do with these videos is quite simple. I point out my expectations, so either up, retest here, I will look for a reversal pattern, or move down, and here I will look for a reversal pattern to be a buyer again. Because the thing with these 1 minutes, let's say I explain it like this, because a thing most people don't seem to understand is when price is trading into the zone, I don't know if it will hold here, or will it form around here and then reverse, or will it be all the way at the bottom before it reverses? So what am I doing? I just look at this general box. This is why I say I will be a buyer in this area. Sometimes I may be more specific, like I want to be a buyer right around here. But the thing, we can get something like this, where we just slow grind down, get one impulse, and then we start moving. But here comes the thing, I don't know if we get this impulse here, or that we get it here. This price will tell. So what I do, I just point out the general levels, and then how you act upon it is your thing. Because if I just tell you exactly what I'm doing, doesn't this go against education? Because I want you guys to learn, not just copy paste. So, with this explained, like right here, where do you see a proper reversal? You don't. Why? You did not break a low. You failed breaking above it. Right here. So what am I doing? I'm just staying patient. When my pattern forms, I will be a buyer, right? But I just point out the general levels where I would like to buy and where I would like to sell. So now that I've answered that question, let's go on to the altcoins that were asked. So let's first look at DAO. DAO, I do think this is one of the stronger projects, but the last couple months AI just has not been booming that much, so it hasn't gotten massive attention. I gone to ask the question to analyze it right here. So I did. I wanted to see the reclaim of this blue line, which we got, and we got a hold. Now let's look at this again. Because what really happened, because this is a thing I analyzed on the 1 week. See the wick right here. You see the support level right there. And then I want to see a reversal pattern form around here with a reclaim of this. Now, okay, let's go into the lower time frames. And guys, I can't make this up because this three were just asked by people on my Twitter. I did not cherry pick them. Right here. What do we see? 1, 2, 3. This is me looking at the screen like, okay, here you go. Because what again is happening? You move up. You slowly start to consolidate. And then we move up. Right? So what do we want to see? What do I say always? We want to see a break and a reclaim. And this should be aggressive. The reclaim should also be aggressive. And this part can be slow. This part. Because if it goes fast towards the level, you just expect it to break like here. But when it reclaims it, you want it to hold to see some sort of buying. And right here, we go up. So, now with all the yapping about the patterns, let's just get into the real points. So, we get in this pattern. Okay? What do we see? Massive support level. Acted as a support here, acted as a support here, and at these 2 points. So, what do we want to see? We want to see either the reclaim of this, where I will be a buyer right around here, or we want to see these lows getting swept and reclaimed. Right? So, where are we grinding inside? You're just chopping right around this support. Just like we were doing right around that bottom, right? You are chopping around that level on a lower time frame. I can assure you that on a 30-minute chart, this exact pattern was this. So now that we have stated this, these 4 tau will be my scenarios where we either catch these lows or we play the breakup. And how do you play it? Let's say it sweeps this and it reclaims this. You'll most likely be a buyer around here, where we'll just stop be at those lows. So let's say price exactly did this. Yes, and here we get in. And then it starts moving up. Okay, where will our stop be? Right around here. Because if this was the sweep, yes, and now of course it doesn't have to play out like this, but I wanted to illustrate this with, in terms of risk management, how do you play this? So, what do we of course target? Here your first high, here your second high, here your third high if given. So, now this pattern, when you get that sweep, you don't want a sweep of the sweep. So, if it sweeps this, if it even comes close to this, you want to cut the trade. Okay, then it's a loss. Okay, on to the next one. Because what really happens? We want it to hold. So this should be your stop, because if you expect, if it comes back into here, it will most likely just continue and break the level. Because then it's a sweep of the sweep, which you are not trying to trade. So, if it starts moving up, I just take a partial profit right here. and then I did this. And now it's risk-free. Okay, all I can lose now is unrealized profit. So, this I wanted to illustrate real quick. So now let's get into the last two, because I think this has took enough time already, this video. So to sum it up again, we want to buy this sweep and reclaim or the breakout and retest. Yes. So the next one, the graph. I will analyze this on the max chart again to make it easier for me to remember which charts these were being put on. There we again see the same fucking thing. I did not cherry pick these guys. I'm telling you, this is just what you guys gave me, and you see the patterns just keep repeating itself. Because now again, let's look at it closer. 1, 2, and 3. You even see it on the top side, guys. So, what do we see? 1, 2, 3, and we move up. Here, locally, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I can't make it up. You just see it. So, focus on that pattern and you will most likely win. So, let's get into those higher time frames first. Well, look at this. Again, 1, 2, 3. It's getting repetitive, guys, but this is just how fucking markets move and I can't do anything about it. You just have to accept it. So, what would we like to see here? Because currently it is unable to reclaim this zone. And it is quite clear what we want to see. Already drawn it. There are two types of breaks. So you have this one, your break with low volume, where you are more likely to really see that retest before you go up. There also is the second version, where you have a break with volume. Here, you usually don't see a retest. You only see a higher low, where you don't really retest that level that you broke. So these would be the two ways I will be looking at this. Because when a chart is still being bottomed, like this pattern, I don't like to catch the wicks. Let's say this token would have been trading up here. Here I maybe would have, so let's say the price action did something like this and it is here. Here I maybe would buy a reclaim, but when it is still grinding down, I don't. I only want to buy the upside moves. So for graph, I will be only looking to enter when it reclaims this level. So this for the 4 hour is this level, with this being the more clear level. Yes. So let's go on to the last one, which is one of my favorite tokens in terms of spot holds, is that being Chainlink. Chainlink is the perfect example of how bottoms should be formed. Here again, guys, and I'm not making this shit up, I just can't. You picked them, I did not. I only took them from the comments, that's all it. So what do we again see? You have your first level. You have your second level. You move up. You create a higher low. This was your bottom. This. You create the higher low. Boom. I can't make it up. Now, look at the top side. Grounding again, guys. Yes, and we move down. What do we here again see? You create a level. You sweep it. You hold above it and you keep moving up. So now I will draw this again to make it even more repetitive. Yes, you see it. 1, 2, aggressive reclaim, 3. And again, where do we want the 3 point to be valid? In between 1 and 2. So you take the low of 1, you take this part of 2, there you go. Yes, And now again, what are we getting? As this is what matters the most for the person who asked. Here, Chainlink is one of those that, since I do think this should just trade higher here, and this, of course, is still in clear upwards momentum, even though it has lost a bit of the momentum at those highs. This looks already a bit better than a graph in my opinion, so here I wouldn't be that mad to buy a sweep of it. So here I will be playing both sides. So if it gives me the sweep and it starts to form some higher low right between these 2 points. So again, let me illustrate this from here to here. If it starts to form a higher low here, I will buy. Or what do we want to see next? If we don't get this, we want to see this getting flipped. Quite literally. So, with that having said, if you guys want me to explain, like in a separate video, like what exact setups I'm looking for on those lower time frames, make sure to let me know. I just wanted to touch upon this because when I say I want to be a buyer, if it reclaims X level and it starts to compress, it really means I am watching for a reversal pattern on the lower time frame inside that area. So like stated in the previous videos, I wanted to see it trade into here to be a buyer, where here we got some compression and a reversal pattern. So I became a buyer. If we did not trade into here, I wanted to see this break, retest, here, hold, and then I will be a buyer. And let's say we do something like this. Well, let's say we do something like this. Here, there's no hold, I will become a seller. Yeah, so here you quite literally see what I mean with this. It did not hold. So what did you think I do? I became a seller. And now let's add this logic to it. What do we guys see here? A volume void. In a trend, you want to see it getting retested a little bit, where it at least gets into previous staircases. Here we just flew straight up. So when you see something like this, you can almost guarantee yourself that it has to fail at least these parts. Whether it's this candle where it reverses this or this, you don't know, but you know one of them needs to get filled at minimum. So you see here I wanted to become a buyer if this held. So what really happened for me? I entered on this higher low. Yes. With a stop right here. And I got screwed. But yet, look at the loss. 0.11%. What did I do closely after? This. Already see it. What was my target? I expected this to be violated. I did not really expect them to take this with it, but this was my target. Here. So, did I lose first? Yes. Did I make more? Yes. Did I make money? Yes. So, okay. I wanted to explain this concept a little bit deeper because when this question was asked, I was like, yes, okay, yeah, you're kind of, I kind of find your point there. But on the other side, it goes against the educational purposes and against this being a daily market outlook where I just point out what is currently happening inside the market and what I expect. I'm not telling you exactly what I am doing. I'm just telling you if we get into this area, for example, I will look for a reversal to play it towards the upside. If this level breaks and we start seeing some swing failure patterns here or some weakness, I will just play it towards the downside. Yes. Or if we have a crucial resistance and we break up from it, we retest it, then I will be a buyer again. This is how I play it. So I just explain the literal levels which I want. price to trade towards or trade in before I look for any sort of confirmations. So here was the perfect example. I said I either want to play the break and retest where we get up, or we reject from this and we first trade into these lows. And then on the lower time frame, what happened? Can guess, I think C1, 2, and 3. And this was my exact setup. So, can you guess? Here, I longed some. Here, I took partial profits because I saw this volume void. When it got filled, I added some back to the position. Because now you had a completed 1, 2, and 3. So, this is one of the patterns that I use in terms of lower time frames with those triggers. But mainly, I will be looking for patterns like this. Like right here. And it can also be that this point is lower, where this last point, for example, comes here. This can also happen, but usually it will round up. And like I stated, it can be deeper. Sometimes it will reverse from here, sometimes from here, sometimes from here. So this is why I don't tell exactly where I will be buying. Why? Because I don't know. If price hasn't been there, I can't base my entry of anything. I can only tell you I will look for an entry around here. But if it's on the top of the box, in the middle of the box, or on the lower side of the box, or if we get a sweep, I will play the reclaim. It's just me giving you the general levels and telling you the general trend. Which, this kind of looks like a dirty rejection if I'm not gonna lie. But right here, we already see on that volume chart that this is your level to hold. Right? So, what do you think I will be doing after this video? Grabbing a cup of coffee and waiting for some sort of reversal right around here. So, with that having said, guys, this video took a bit longer, but I wanted to explain these concepts quite well and shown some altcoins that were asked on Twitter. So, with all that having said, guys, have a nice day and keep trading. Bye.